And now, enter the courtroom of Judge Mathis. Plaintiff Nancy Swanson was an 18-year-old dancer when she met and married the defendant, who was her boss. Nancy says the defendant turned out to be an abusive alcoholic who once choked her so hard that she passed out and threatened her with a gun. Nancy's suing for an overpayment of child support. Defendant Bruce Swanson says everything Nancy is saying is a lie, and Nancy once gave up custody of their son so she could continue living with her boyfriend, who was busted for child pornography.
Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, in February of 1993, I met the defendant through work. I was a dancer. He was a bartender / my boss. We started dating. In June of '93, we were married. I was 18, young, didn't know any better. I should have listened to my mother when she told me, don't do it. In June of '94, our son Nicholas was born. It was a horrible marriage right from the start. He was an abusive alcoholic. He beat on me. He would control everything I did. He wouldn't allow me to talk to certain members of my family because he didn't want anybody influencing me away from him. At one time, he choked me so hard I passed out. Another time, he put a shotgun to my head and threatened to kill me.
Did you ever have him locked up?
I did have him locked up. Well, at that time when the police came over, they were friends of his, and so they told me that I could grab some things and leave for the night. So I went to my mother's for a week, and he promised he would quit drinking and promised he would never do it again, and so I went back to him.
Right.
And then, nothing
Continued to
changed.
do the same thing?
He kept drinking, he kept hitting me, he kept belittling me and telling me I could never do anything without him. Then another time he hit me in the face and he gave me a black eye. He went to jail for that. He was found guilty and sentenced to anger management. Muskegon, Michigan.
Michigan?
Yes, sir.
You need to take that short ride down to Detroit and get some lessons from those women in Detroit.
I've learned quite a bit since then,
You might have
sir.
one good time to beat on a woman from Detroit. Then you'll draw back a nub the next time. No, I don't want you to respond in violence. You did the right thing. You divorced when?
I left him in May of '97.
Okay.
And our divorce was final in October of 1998.
Sir, what do you want to tell me about this?
She's pretty much lying about all of it. I mean, I don't care how good of friends you are with the police. Do you actually think if you're going to pull a gun, they're just going to let you go?
There's evidence in court. He was convicted of domestic violence. I don't need to lie about it.
Sir, you a woman beater?
No.
Yes, sir.
No, actually, if I was...
How many times you been to jail for fighting a man?
I haven't been to jail for that.
How many times you been to jail for fighting a woman?
Twice, but there was no fighting. And say I have custody of my son, so obviously if all this was true,
you kicked out. Who's not living with you because you kicked him out?
We went to court a couple years ago, and I got custody of him because
I gave him to you.
Her boyfriend was arrested for child pornography, and the judge gave him the choice of the son or the boyfriend. She chose the boyfriend, so that's how I got my son.
I chose my son, wanted to go live with him, and I allowed my son to choose. He was 14.
He go live with his father so he can learn a little manhood from his father.
Sir.
Let's get to the child support payment you allege you have overpaid.
After the years, I had custody of Nicholas until 2009 when my ex was involved in the legal issues. The judge did give me permission to move to Detroit with my son. Nicholas didn't want to live with me anymore. He wanted to live with his father. His father was brainwashing him. His father let him do anything he wanted. He wasn't a father. He was his best bud.
You said they had the best bud. He was getting high with him.
He was his best buddy. He wasn't a father. He was his best friend.
Oh, I thought you said they had the best bud.
No, sir.
As in weed. Oh, okay. You said they were like best buddies, and if he drank, he probably smokes and everything else.
I think he is taking drugs, Your Honor. I've been told that he's been snorting amphetamines and doing different things.
And he left to live with him in '09.
Yes.
And you paid child support? Is that what you did?
Bruce had been paying me $343 a month, or as long as I had him. So I paid $343 a month when Nicholas started to live with him. I paid every month, and then I was made aware that Nicholas wasn't staying at Bruce's house. He was staying with his girlfriend I was under the assumption that Bruce was still providing for Nicholas, so I continued to pay the child support. And then he told me my dad kicked me out, and so I asked Bruce, Nick said you kicked him out. No, I didn't kick him out. I kicked Holly out. So I didn't know who to believe, and I didn't have any facts.
How many months did he live outside of your ex's
From the end
custody?
of June of 2011 until October of 2011. And
All
I
right.
called the friend of the court and let them know that Nicholas was no longer living with his
And you
father.
paid child support those months?
I paid child support all of those months.
All right.
The
And
child support would only go back from, I had paid for all of October, and I called them October 12th.
Mm-hmm.
They could only reimburse me for October 12th until the end of October. So
yeah, they don't do retroactive. So
Yes.
you came to
So-
small claims court to obtain what child support does not do, and that's
Yes.
retroactive. But you believe you're owed that amount because you paid him for 3 months that he did not care for your son?
yes, he wasn't providing him with anything. He
All
wasn't
right.
providing him food,
And yet
wasn't
he
giving him money
accepted
for
the
food.
money and spent the money on something other than housing your son?
Yes.
Sir?
No, I was still providing for him for all that time.
He lived under your roof?
Yep, he was living under my roof. And actually,
My son is here, and
I have
he can
a
dispute
witness
that.
also that seen what was at the house when we had a 4th of July party. You know, my son was there. And then he was also a witness to when actually we did have a problem when my son stole the TV set from my house.
Okay.
And that was in September. And that was pretty much when the split happened. Because like the police, I called the police.
The
'Cause he
split
stole-
happened?
Yeah, where he actually then did move out. So I called the police on him because he stole the TV, and then the police didn't do anything
Let's
because he was
go
still
over it
living there then.
again. Let's go over it again. Between June and October of 11, what months did he live with you?
He actually just moved out in like September.
You want to come up, young man? State your name.
My name is Nicholas Swanson.
All
And,
right. Y'all got the best bud?
Are you all still best
Door,
buds,
look at
Nick?
door lit up like a Christmas tree.
Undivided attention.
Got the best bud?
Are you all still best
Door,
buds,
look at
Nick?
door lit up like a Christmas tree.
Undivided attention.
Plaintiff Nancy Swanson was married to the defendant, and she claims he was so abusive that he not only choked her until she passed out, but he threatened her with a gun.
You were best buds?
Yes, when I
All
was a
right. You were
little
good
kid, we
friends,
were
you and
best
your dad?
friends.
What
and
happened then?
I grew up and learned the real person he is. When I met Holly, we would come over every day at my dad's house.
Your girlfriend?
Yep.
This is your girlfriend here? Okay.
And we would just stay there, watch movies every now and then. And he would be very mean to Holly, like not at all, I don't know how to put it, but he was very
misogynistic.
violent.
Violent?
Violent, yes.
In front of her?
Yes, to her. And
What?
so
What do you mean to her?
there was one day
Verbally abusive?
he tried.
I had to call the police on her twice to get her out of my house, and so obviously it wasn't no violent in my part. I had to call the police on her twice to get her out of the house.
What did you say?
I had to call the police on her 2 times to get her out of the house.
I think he's on amphetamine, sir.
You better be careful. You jumping on all these women. You're going to jump on the wrong one. All right, young man. So what happened in June and through October? Did you live with your dad, or what happened? What caused you to leave, and when?
Well, before June 20th, I haven't moved out yet because Holly did not get an apartment, so we were still at my dad's and hanging out there. But the main reason why I wanted to move out and live with Holly is because we had nowhere to go other than my dad's, and he was always, mean to her. So on June 20th is when we moved into her apartment, and ever since then, I would just go over to my dad's and visit.
Your witness wants to say something, sir. Come on now.
Yes, Dan.
State your name.
Daniel Yost.
What do you want to tell me?
I know that he's provided for his son. His son may not live there the whole time, but I know he's been there and got food from him numerous times. What provisions other than that, I don't really know.
Yeah. You don't need anything other than that, does it?
To me, that's providing.
Right. Food and water, that's
food and
all
water,
you need.
and if he
Bread
needed
and
it, it was
water at
always
that.
there. So,
Little bread, little water, under the door.
no,
And he
that
should
way.
be
You had a key to
fine.
come in. Always door open.
You want to speak, ma'am. State your name.
Holly Durosher.
What do you want to tell me?
Actually, Bruce had told the police when he blocked my car into my driveway that Nick was not allowed to come back to his home.
Sir?
This was in September. That was when he stole my TV.
Good enough. And he stayed there through June with the exception of 10 days. So if we were to...
Your Honor, I'm not suing for the whole month of June. It's only the last few days in June, from June 21st to June 30th.
Right.
And then
Let's see that.
October, it's only from October 1st through October 11th when I called friend of the court.
Okay. Sounds fair. Sir, you admit that he left in September, so you were no longer entitled to child support as of September, the day he moved from under your roof, by your own admission. He says it was June 20th, and he says he left because of your abusive ways. $1,377 is your judgment, ma'am. I believe he moved out June 20th, as he says. I believe him over you, bottom line. All right, good luck to you all. Have a good day.
Whenever Holly would come over, he was not kind to her. For some reason, he didn't like her. He would always call her fat and lazy and just bad words. So
Baggies full of pills.
He's one to talk about fat and lazy.
Paws cut up with powder in them. He brought over an 18-year-old girl, or 18 or 19, whatever. 19.
19-year-old pregnant
Who
girl
was
who he
pregnant
got
and he
drunk
got her
so he could
drunk.
try to her.